going to be Rookie of the Year?
You see the intensity you want out of the first practice?
Well, it really wasn't our first practice.
Well, right.
Really?
25th practice. So we do things a little differently. Like we don't do workouts like in the summer. Like obviously they work out on their own and do stuff with our GAs, but so we practice in June and July, and then our first day of school we had a practice. So like now that you get to this and everybody wants to anoint that it's the first practice, it really isn't. So yeah, it was good. It was all right, just trying to kind of, we're playing a lot of different combinations, just trying to see who plays well. Sometimes it's a little bit different when you have 5 new guys. You just don't want to put all 5 of those guys on one team. That's not fair. And so we would just try to split it up and help each other. And sometimes certain lineups are bigger, sometimes they're smaller. And, you just kind of go from there. But whoever stands out, like from a production standpoint, is going to, really help their cause.
Is there sort of a different vibe this year? And what is it like as a coach when you're kind of watching this maybe come together in a way? Last year's team was very set. This year there's maybe more uncertainty.
But we still have 3 guys that as sophomores started on the Final Four team. So all 3 of those guys are juniors and very productive players. So we have I think a good place to start. And then I think we have some guys that are returning that played on our team that can really enhance their roles. They have to earn that because we have good freshmen that are, coming in, and Caleb gives us a lot of experience. Will and Brian, haven't played much at all, so they're fighting to get into that, that rotation. But Miles and Cam obviously, had their moments last year and in spurts. That's really hard to do. It's hard to be a consistent player with inconsistent minutes. And so just looking for those guys to have more of an opportunity and compete, and the young guys to, also try to, find their way, because we need some of those young guys, to help us.
Does the summer kind of these days take away a little bit of the learning pressure here, or the teaching pressure?
Correct.
So you can hit the ground running a little bit better?
No question.
Is that true for your freshmen? Are you seeing that right now?
I think it's true for everybody, just because even though you've been here, it's good to get back into that. It's longer if you just go. We didn't do anything in the spring, obviously, because we played until the first week of April, and with the rules you can't. So like when you start back in June, I think it's good to be able to do that. And we play a lot. Like you see how we play at the end. We play a game for 20 minutes. We'll do that for 20 to 30 minutes at the end of almost every practice, because we run a lot of stuff. So getting those practices I think really helps. Getting ready to start. And then now we start. For we go here twice a week in the morning from 6 to 7, just putting everything in and just trying to kind of make, basketball like a class more than anything. And that's what we've done for the past 10 years, is really treat it like a class, make sure they understand what they're doing. Just that collective intelligence, I think, really helps.
How much this fall is just going to be about figuring out how you're going to play, because you can go with Trey at the 5, you can go with Trey at the 4, have size next to him.
Yeah, it's, just the production of it, right? And so you're waiting from Caleb to Will, to Cam, Daniel, Riley Burgess. You're just kind of waiting to see who's productive, and they've all had good days. Just trying to see that consistency, and then your matchups, right? From a defensive standpoint, how are you going to be? I think Daniel gives us the best chance from a shot blocking standpoint. Caleb gives us the best chance in terms of just his versatility and guarding different people. Will's probably the most physical. Riley's going to be a really good player. Kind of learning our system right now, but he's done some good things. So that kind of getting that figured out. 2 years ago, Fletcher didn't have another ball handler with him. So you had Braden, and you had him, and Fletcher really was our 2, and the other guy was really our 3, whomever played there. And then having Lance really helped Fletcher being that second ball handler. So that's where, with Braden, whoever that could be, at times helps him. At times it doesn't matter. At times you can play that small forward like Miles and Cam with those 2. Then there's other times people that press or they zone or do things like that. You need another guy in there like Jakari or CJ. that has a little bit better ball handling skills. But overall, like, you can sit there and kind of angle everything, but it's the guys that are the most productive, right? I think matchups matter. I think blending guys matter, but I think production supersedes that. So some guys just going to go out there and be great defensively, great rebounding, make good decisions, make shots. Like, he's going to find his way.
How does the balance change by swinging the experience into the backcourt as opposed to it being for so long in the front court with Alex at?
Yeah, well, we've always tried to have balance. Some teams are going to be more balanced scoring. Some teams are going to be a little bit different. If they have a guy like a Zach Edey, to where you're going to go to him a lot, you got to understand, like 25 and 13 was his average. So like that just, it's kind of crazy in its own thing. But Braden can make guys that can shoot. He can really raise their value with his ability to pass the basketball. Zach could raise their value with his ability to get doubled. So a lot of people don't like to double for that fact alone. But no, I think we can have some pretty good balance. I would look at the three returners to start with, like Braden Fletch and Trey Kaufman. But like anything can happen. We have quality players.
How much value is there? You were able to ease Cam and Miles in.
Right.
Last year they got to sit back and experience it a lot, but playing time was spared.
Yeah, Cam's somebody that we could float him to be undersized and play him at the four some. We've done it a little bit in practice, but not a lot. I think it just kind of depends on everything, how people in the back court are playing, how people in the front court are playing, and how he's obviously playing. But no, I would like to think that both him and Miles, their experiences, will really help their cause this year. I don't like speaking on it, to be frank with you, because just when you speak on one guy or two guys or like whatever it might be, you got 13 scholarship players on your team, and I always tell them, like, when you walk in here, like, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know to help your cause. But the problem is when you walk out and the next guy walks in, I'm going to tell them too. And so, like, when you do that and you're open and honest and you work with guys, now that really creates a real competitive landscape. Guys are going after each other and competing for things. So I think I have a good problem on my hands.
How does that competition in the front court kind of manifest itself between the bigs? And I'm sure you encourage that to an extent.
No question. It's good. You have a lot of different guys. Like Will, really with Zach coming back, that hurt his chances of playing. Really kind of eliminated him. He really needed like someone to get hurt or get into foul trouble to put him there. And we don't foul a lot, so that's something that really set him back a year. And that's nothing he could really control because Zach was that good. So now I know, like, he's really hungry to play. Caleb has started as a freshman some, has started as a sophomore, and then once again because of Zach, he got shortchanged with minutes there. So now that's really competitive. Riley Burgess has looked really good. Where he ends up in his first year, I don't know yet, but he's looked really good and been very productive. Trey's worked extremely hard. I would be shocked if Trey's not an all-conference caliber player. He's really looked good there. And then Daniel had a good summer playing USA basketball. So, but it's not, the Big Ten's not U18s, right? You have 22, 23, 24-year-old guys in the last year of COVID. So he just has to keep, going at it, keep getting stronger, keep getting bigger, keep working, because his ability to block shots has got to be a weapon for us. He can catch lobs, he can run. He's good around the basket. Sometimes he gets pretzeled up when he gets too narrow. But for the most part, he's made really good strides. But there's time that guys are so physical and not everything gets called in the practice. He's going to function a lot better in the real game, and you get a real whistle. I'm out there refereeing.
How has Berg improved since the last year? To rate himself this opportunity?
Yeah, he's just kept working. He just kept putting in time. For him, I think he's just got to feel good about himself. I think sometimes when you haven't had that experience, it's hard to make a mistake and recover from it. And I think it's easier to kind of compound something good, just trying to get on top of it. And then when something bad happens, it's a little harder to shake off. I mean, for him, just building confidence, just trying to be positive as we can with him. And just go out there and compete. I told him, like, the times that he's gotten here at the end of games, like, if you go sit for 2 hours, I don't care how good a player you are, you go sit for 2 hours, then you got to play 3 minutes at the end of the game. Most people are dog shit. You know, it's just, I mean, it's just hard. Like, think about sitting there for 2 hours. You're just sitting there and like, hey, I'm not getting in this game. And all of a sudden, like, hey, okay, you get to play here for 180 seconds. Let it rip. Oh, you drop the ball. Like, you miss an air ball. How many air balls you seen? Like, he would always play well. He would always go in there. I said, hey, that's the focus you have to have, because most guys, before you get to 20 minutes, you got to do well in 5 to 10 minutes. Then you got to do well 10 to 15 minutes. You got to grow your minutes and get better. So I said, hey, your ability to go in and focus at that time. Like, people say, well, those minutes don't matter. It matters to the people playing. It matters to me. And so, like, I thought he always did well when he went in there. He was just up against it, you know, because of all of our other guys. So, like, you know, everybody here's pulling for him, you know, to get some success and build off of it.
Screening is such an important part of what you do offensively.
Right.
I'd imagine that's a big part of what you're asking him.
Yeah, it's a big part for all those guys. You know, our execution and what we run.